define what success means to you,
Okay.
and maybe some struggles you're having because maybe how you define success isn't how other people around you want you to define success, and what does that mean? What does that look like, and how do you deal with that? I know I had to deal with that when I was going through college, so maybe that's a place to start.
Well, yeah, especially like applying for jobs and stuff. It's
still define success as money, and so I think it's going to be interesting to see what these kids have to say. I mean, I know tons of people that are like, well, they're rich, so they must be successful. But, you know, that may not be everybody's version of success.
Yeah, I think the traditional, you know, we all know what the traditional measurements of success are. It's about.
But what do you do with people that actually feel that that's successful? Like, that's what it means to be successful, to have money.
What do you do with them? What do you mean?
You put them in a box and, like, send them away.
Well, I feel like what I feel like is you're trying to get them to think outside of money. You're trying to get them, and maybe I'm completely wrong on that, but I feel like we're trying to get them to steer away from, think of success in a different light. How do you view yourself as successful? Maybe it is money, but I don't feel like that's what we're trying to get from them.
Well, I'm not trying to get anything specific. There's not a right answer. I mean, it could be. It's something. It's different for most people. I think that often what is looked at as success in terms of money or position, job, achievement, people find out when they do reach certain levels that they don't actually feel that successful.
Okay.
They thought that's what success was, but then it ends up not being the end all that they thought it was going to be because they're not fulfilled. What I try to tell people who say, well, what do you mean? So what's money all about? Well, money is the result of so is a job,
right.
Position, but it's not necessarily the fulfilling part of your life.
Are you looking for not necessarily success, but fulfillment? Where do they find fulfillment? What do they view as fulfillment?
Well, that's what I kind of want to know what they think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have measured success for myself differently along the way, like most people do. You learn and you grow and you realize that, gosh, what you thought was important is not anymore. Success for me has more to do with inspiring other people. In fact, it has everything to do with inspiring other people. That's what I find fulfilling. That's what I find. It has nothing at all to do with money.
Yeah.
Money is important in that our economies are based on it, most of them, and so for those of us that operate in those economies, in order to sustain ourselves and be fulfilled, you have to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I guess I just like the term fulfilled better than success. I don't know, I feel like you view it in a completely different light to me than success, but that's just maybe because of what's been.
Yeah, I guess success I guess in those terms is equal to fulfillment.
Yeah.
To being rich with choices of and being fulfilled with whatever path you choose to take. So I guess some people would choose a path and be consider themselves fulfilled the more money they make.
Yeah.
And there are people that's their. I mean, they are the most happy when they are able to, earn a return, financial return. The problem is that having a lot of money isn't necessarily make you happy. That we see that. I mean, how often have you heard that? I mean, all these rich people that are financially wealthy who are drug addicts and desperate and have failed marriages and their kids are a mess. And
well, it's because they got greedy. Some people.
It's just, money doesn't cure. Money doesn't. That old adage of money doesn't buy you happiness is very, very true.
Yeah.
The most happy and fulfilled people on the planet are not even working in economies like we are in. They're still these people. There's plenty of studies about people, Indian tribes and so forth, that are completely fulfilled and happy, and they don't have any money, and they certainly don't have any material possessions other than the things that they use to feed themselves and
I guess I just want to know
rudimentary game.
what makes people happy, what makes them fulfilled, money aside. Like what fulfills your life?
Well, and we could also get into, I mean, for me, like, it's looking at the job market and going, oh, crap, there's really not that many jobs out there, and going, well, like you had talked about not taking a job just to take a job, but to find the right fit for us. But how do you know that the right fit will come if there's not that many opportunities out there and there's so many people vying for, like, the same job?
Well, I think there are a lot more opportunities than you probably believe that there are. And I think you also, if you're truly in a state of flow where you are fully charged and focused and energetic and passionate about something because you're very confident about the track that you're on, you become noticeable. You actually people create jobs for people like that. And it's not about you're creating demand by virtue of what you are and who you are and how you act. And so it's not just about filling a slot that has already been opened. This is about making slots open for you.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different mindset and a way of looking at something. I was, actually been reading this book about, of all things, about gaming, and it's really weird because I wouldn't normally pick up a book about gaming because I'm not a gamer at all. I rarely play a game. Occasionally if I'm just want to just don't want to do anything else, I'll pick up my iPad and play a soccer game or race a car or something, But it's like for not very long, if I'm doing that for 30 minutes, I'm doing that a long time. And I know there are people that spend an inordinate amount of time playing games. So I saw Tom Peters writing about it. I think I put it on the community, a couple of quotes by this woman who wrote this book about gaming. And I found those quotes so intriguing that I bought the book instantly. And I started to read it. And what's interesting, what she's proposing and what she's saying is that the traditional mindset about gaming and about gamers is that they are wasting time. And what brought this home for me is that I have a child that plays a lot of Minecraft. Do you know the game Minecraft?
Mm-hmm. My brothers play it.
Yeah, so it's not a really sophisticated game, but it's very addictive particularly for children, for younger people. And find it fascinating because people will say, well, Alyssa is wasting time playing Minecraft, and I never thought that because I see what she does. What is that? No, hey, Erin, quit doing that.
Sorry.
So I see that. The focus, the energy, the enlightenment, and the solving of problems. Yes, it's a game, but she is exploring, building.
Yeah, you have to build and
figure things out. She's constantly trying to figure out how to add mods and all these things to. Well, this is all like extremely challenging kind of processes that go on in the brain. So when I saw this book, I went, I got to read that because I think I'm onto something, but I'm also missing something. And what this woman is basically suggesting is that it's not that the gaming is broken, it's that reality is broken. In other words, if people were as happy and fulfilled in reality, in the real world, as they seem to be when they are fully engaged in this game that they really like, well, wouldn't that be cool? Imagine how much more productivity we would have and how much better all of the production would be. Because if a person was as, in the zone about real life and about just coming to work. I mean, when I went to Zappos, those people were playing a game, but they were at work. You understand what I'm saying? They were it was like they were gaming, but they were at work. And just imagine if every work was like that.
Yeah. So engaging that people couldn't wait to come.
Yeah. It's like, I can't wait to, it's like they can't wait to turn on the computer to play the game. I can't wait. And I have worked on projects like that. And when I get really charged up about, like, this kind of thing, when I first started thinking about doing these, I couldn't wait to spend more time figuring out how to do it. I couldn't wait to spend more time writing about how I would do it and coming up with the plan and talking to you all about doing it. Because this is the kind of thing that, this is my fulfillment. This is my reward. This is way cooler than having money for me. So when the energy starts going like that, that is really the cool thing. And that's the part that you have to look for so that you feel that way about whatever you're doing. And just imagine, and I think you can take this into the workplace, even at the hotel. You could just imagine if you could make the job of a front desk person that interesting. Where they would go, man, I love going there and doing this thing they call a front desk because it's like playing, and it's like it's challenging to me. There are things to overcome, but it's fun. I get to make decisions. I get to, all of a sudden the job is not I got to go punch in for 8 hours and check people in or out, and I got to handle guest complaints, and I got to process, welcome letters. I mean, that's a job. The work ought to be the work ought to be fulfilling in the sense that it makes that person successful in how they've defined success. And it might be, hey, I'm trying to get experience because it leads me to another place. But it shouldn't ever be about the money. The money is a resulting kind of a necessary side product of
See, I guess that's what I want them to understand, that they shouldn't view necessarily success as money. They should view kind of life and what they're doing with it as success.
Well, that gets back to what we started talking about in terms of purpose and why.
Yeah.
You first have to define, well, what's your purpose? And
right.
I realize that's challenging, particularly, if somebody would have asked me when I was 20 years old.
But can't your purpose kind of change? Like, I mean, at this stage in my life, like what I would view as success would be, you know, developing upon the culture and really getting it into our work environment and the core values and having people living that life and seeing that on the day-to-day basis. That's what I would view as successful right now in my life. Now, when I'm 50, that could be completely different than right now. So for me, success comes in stages of where I am at a certain point in my life. So with this,
yeah, that's natural.
okay. So at first I was like, well, gosh, I don't know what I would view as success because I don't know where I'm going to be when I automatically went to retirement in that period of my life and looking back on my life and what I would view as success and that kind of thing.
Well, that's actually a really good way to do it. So success might be, how would you want your grandchildren, let's say you're in retirement, and you're talking with them, well, what is it that you could tell them about what you've done or what you're doing or what you did that gets them to really pay attention and go, wow, no way, really?
Well, it's just like in your talks that you've talked about, like at the schools, about leaving a legacy. Like, what is your legacy and what's it going to be, and what are you going to define as your successful moments in life, because that's the legacy that you're going to leave your kids and your grandkids and everything, that they're going to look back on as, oh, that's the legacy that she left me.
Right. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. No one ever talked with me when I was younger about legacy. It was all about job and about achievement of money and about really, it was about material things. And no one talked with me about legacy or purpose or fulfillment or happiness or any of those things. It was too, I guess it was too seen as too, kind of out there kind of talking. It's like, that's not gonna put groceries on the table. And it's like, yeah, but what's the point of it all? What's the point of having groceries on the table if you're miserable and desperate and depressed?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can live longer being depressed if you have groceries, but best not to get there, in my opinion. So, yeah, the legacy is. I think it's important for everybody at every stage of their life to be examining that, and it's going to change, Erin. I agree with you. It's going to move around. My legacy today is different than it would have been 20 years ago, I can assure you.
So I guess you just kind of have to look at it as a whole, kind of what you've done over those years as a whole, whether it's making a difference in somebody's life or, I don't know, in all these stages of your life, the main thing you did was make a difference on a student's life or make a difference, just, I guess, making a difference on the world.
Right. Well, and making a difference in what way? You could be making a difference. What does making a difference mean?
Yeah. What does that mean to you? What is...
Gosh, this is getting deep.
Well, and all this stuff is deep, but that's the hard part, and that's what everybody shies away from.
How do you change somebody's life? What does that mean? What does that entail? How would you go about it?
Yeah, why change somebody's life? Maybe it doesn't need to be changed.
Yeah. Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, I think for me it all has kind of come down to getting people to start. Giving people the proper nudge to get them to even go down a journey and seek a path of fulfillment as opposed to just that material way that we're all kind of traditionally taught. Yeah, it's you know, it certainly is a tough, but it's one that probably we could probably talk about for 2 or 3 different weeks.
Mm.
You know, because it's all a big circle. You go from what is success, and then the purpose, and the why, and legacy, and it all kind of just keeps going round and round and round.
But it's so interesting. It's just a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
And it's so life-changing, too, because if you look at things a whole different way, I mean, it has the potential to change your life.
It usually does. You know, I wrote something out about my own why. Actually, not all that long ago, because I was trying to define this for myself. And I wrote that I believe that everyone has the potential to be an artist, to deliver something unexpected, and to leave a meaningful legacy and live a happy and healthy life. Obviously, I had to throw healthy in there, Erin.
Yay.
And I further wrote that I believe that the moments and experiences that bring people the most joy are often the ones that are unexpected, the little surprises in life. And then, with that in mind, I believe that most people need some kind of a nudge or a spark, some little push to see things differently, to have this kind of blossom for them. And that's what I receive joy and fulfillment in, is watching a person kind of receive that nudge and find an unexpected path of some kind. That's really fulfilling, and that becomes my gift to people. And so that is a long way of writing out kind of what my why is, and why I do anything.
It's interesting because, I mean, I've started reading this book, and I found myself, like, at the office today, and, like, Talika was like, oh, yeah, you can just hang out for a little bit, just do whatever until I figure out something for you to do. I was like, okay, so I'm sitting there and going, I'm picking up my book to read a little bit, and it talks about, like, not being average and, like, not settling. You don't want to be the average employee, because the average employee is replaceable. And you want to be somebody that's irreplaceable. And so I was like, okay, what can I do to be irreplaceable? And so I'm just like, well, I'll just get something done that needs to be done around here, whether it's in reservations or sales. And so since Talika didn't need anything, we got that huge pile of files to scan in sales, and so I just, like, started working on that. But it was just like, that book made me think a little different, like, well, why just sit here and just wait on an opportunity? Like, just go do something until you're told different.
Yeah, I mean, people often have a fear of, well, I'll be told, you know, not to do it, or I'll go do something and mess it up. You know, you could have walked out to the lobby and started greeting customers. You know, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody's going to say, oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not your job, or you're not doing it right. You know, we have a big fear. You're not doing it right. Well, at least I'm doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about me taking initiative, you know, and yeah, and just little things like that. Just picking up a pile of papers and say, don't these need to be taken care of? I'll do this. In fact, the best examples are those people that don't even say that, because they're not looking for credit. They just want to do, so they just start doing. And you know, it would be an interesting experiment if I don't know how this would work. It may blow up, but you know, if you showed up and just put on just go to the laundry, get a chef's coat or something that works, and show up in the kitchen and say, I'm here, and I'm going to give me some stuff to, dice or chop or whatever, because I see you guys doing this days on end, and I'm going to help. It would be interesting to see what kind of reception you get. It'd be like, well, no, you're not trained, or you can't do that, or would they say, oh, cool. Wow,
Yeah.
there's people like you,
Yeah.
Pretty soon you build this, if you do things like that, you build an image, you build a brand of a person who takes initiative. Doesn't always do it right, but that's not the part they remember. They remember Rachel was the person that she always was the person that showed up when you least expected it, and was always willing to do something, even when we didn't ask her to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. That would be a great. I would love to have that brand. That would be if somebody recognized me to be that person, right? That would be really cool. Because you wouldn't. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have the brand of Rachel's always the one that came and screwed everything up. That's not the brand you'd have. It just wouldn't be, because any mistakes you made would be overlooked by the pure effort and the effort that wasn't requested. It was so unexpected, and that's the thing I'm trying to get people to do. Is I'm trying to get people to do something that's unexpected, because that's what gets noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why resumes suck, because they're expected, and it's really hard to make an impression that gets noticed with a resume, because it is so expected. But what are you going to do that's unexpected? You could start by making a pink one.
Elle Woods got into law school with her video and pink-scented resume.
What's that?
I said Elle Woods got into law school because of her video and pink-scented resume.
I don't even know who that is.
It's a movie.
It's an older movie. It's Legally Blonde.
I saw it in theaters for my birthday one year. Yep.
So, Erin, to get back to your thing, your definition of success, and kind of, it's in the moment. This is your world is right there. You've got that nicely defined. I think that's really good. It doesn't have to be some I'm going to save the planet big thing.
I feel like almost like that's what people automatically go to.
Of course.
Oh man, success. Well.
Yeah, because if you don't have a big answer, you must not be. It must not be meaningful. It must, if it's not some. Oh, I want to stamp out malaria. In the Southeast Asia.
Cure cancer.
Right. Yeah. I think that's there's nothing wrong with that. But
how about just getting somebody? I want to make sure that everybody can cross the street in downtown Little Rock safely. It can be little stuff.
And I guess part of me wants them to understand that too, that you don't have to go by what society puts out there and the media puts out there as success. It can be just, what do you view as success for you right now, where you are in college?
Yeah, and I think you stamp out territory that you can own as an expert. So why stamp out territory that's too big and you can't be an expert in? Do something that you can be an expert in, so that you are seen as the leader in that. Right. And it might be within the hotel, it might be within the department, it might even just be within a shift. Mm-hmm. Because that's what gets noticed, and then you don't have to worry about being picked for promotions or for experience and opportunities to gain other experience. You're going to be before you can even blink, they're going to pick you.
Right.
But you have to stake out something you can own and be an expert at. Right. And it might be you know, it might be the person that always just seems to be there to do the work that no one else wants to do. It might be that. So I don't know. What do you? I mean, you've both seen me at the hotel. What do you think my brand is? I mean, what do you think I'm known for? Or what? If I left tomorrow, what would I be known for? Besides being kind of goofy.
I really like that you're like super approachable, like, because when you're like the innkeeper or the GM or something, like, people are scared of you automatically because of the respect factor, which you command respect because you're just so friendly and approachable to everybody, but you're still like, I mean, still pretty high up there, but I don't know, you're just super approachable, and like I felt like from the get-go, like I could just have a conversation with you.
Yeah, good. So approachable. I like that. I mean, I'm happy about that. Because approachable means that I have the opportunity to realize my purpose with you.
Mm-hmm.
That won't work if I'm not approachable. That's good news.
Bringing the health initiative around. I mean, you're known for that, Michael. Health initiative.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like it or not, that's what people associate you with. And healthy living.
Yeah, I purposely did that, you know, because obviously I believe in it very strongly, but I did stake that out as my own turf. Nobody else was taking it, so I took it, and to some degree, it's an annoyance. I realize, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being kind of that annoying person sometimes.
Right.
It's okay. I try not to do it too much, and I try to do it in a fun way, and that I really do. I really don't mean to be that, you know, that parent that's saying you got to eat your green peas, but I do want to make a difference in that way. It's really important to me that we change some things. And what's interesting is that I have started to get that that image and that brand around town, and not because, you know, it's like people now automatically they see me as this like athlete innkeeper, and I'm like, little do they know that, you know, that was just me taking that turf. I just decided that, well, I'm going to put myself out there as the person that cycles and runs and does this stuff, but mainly to get somebody else to go, hey, well, maybe I could do that too, or I could do something like that, or because I certainly am not really, I'm really not that good at it compared to the people that really do it well. But I didn't care. I said, well, that's fine. I'm going to take this turf because I can use this platform that I have at the hotel to make something out of that and inspire people and get people to look at things just a little bit differently, perhaps a little bit differently, and do something that's unexpected for themselves. And so that's a good example of saying, what do I have to be afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, some really badass triathlete is going to say, well, you aren't that good. Well, you're right, I'm not that good. You can kick my butt any day of the other day, but so what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are people who, you know, if you want to be an expert, tell everybody you are. You know, now at some point you probably have to prove it, but
yeah.
But I do try to live out, obviously. I do believe in not just telling people that you are something. I mean, I'm trying very hard to be representative of something and say, okay, yeah, I can actually do this.
Okay.
All right. So we're done. We should probably.
Yeah.
This has been good. The last 30 minutes or so, I think, has been a lot better. As soon as we ditched Ryan, we got this going.
Yeah. I mean, I seriously look forward to this. Like, I've been, like, waiting on it all week.
Yeah. Well, I'm very. That inspires me a lot because that's what we need. We need people like you, and it's, it'll take time to get a group together that gels and that it works, but I think it will work. And I appreciate you doing it. And Erin, I really appreciate you hanging in there and helping out and being the wonderful co-host that you are.
I do so much. Hey, I stuck with it and became a part of this.
I'm proud of you, Erin.
I found you people on Google.
Right. So we'll sign off for now, and we'll go to next week, and we'll talk some more tomorrow about how we'll make it even better next time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right?
See y'all tomorrow.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.